Hey everybody, and welcome back to my Let's Play. So I just picked up this red book, finished with the spider billiards place, and this book is empty. Okay. By the way, I just heard some interesting news. Apparently, I don't know if this is a rumor or if this is true or not. Apparently, People Modders, I heard this on Rely on Horror, which is a great site that I go to for a lot of Resident Evil news, and they might have some other news, but I focus on Resident Evil. But apparently, I heard that this game, we have this game now, the HD remake. But apparently, they are working to put the voices from the original Resident Evil. Now, that's the PlayStation Resident Evil one, into the HD remake, and that's. I don't know how to feel about that. But most of me loves it. Most of me absolutely loves it. I said before that you can tell that they did try to work to improve the voice acting in this version of the game, and the voice acting is believable. It definitely is, but it's just that you can see that they tried very hard to keep the spirit of what was said in the original game while trying to make it believable, trying to make the dialogue not so stilted, not so unbelievable. It's locked. Okay, so I need a key for that. So can I go into that door? We'll check. Alright, so there's still many more doors to explore. Okay. That hole in the wall is important.
No, that wasn't part of our deal. But it's not necessary to destroy stars. What about my family? If I play my cards right.
So they did something very interesting with the dialogue here. In the original remake, you could very clearly hear who Barry was talking to, which was stupid. So I'm glad they changed it.
Jill.
Barry, I heard someone talking.
Oh, you heard. I think age is starting to take its toll. Talking to myself is becoming a bad habit.
Talking to yourself? You all right? What's gotten into you?
I'm getting you worried, aren't I? But don't, I'm alright. I guess this creepy mansion has gotten to my nerves. Anyway, I think I'll go outside, get some fresh air for a change. Don't worry, I'm just going to get some fresh air. If I'm lucky, I'll get to waste some monsters along the way.
Every time I hear the line of Barry saying, I'm gonna go outside and get some fresh air, I always think of the Resident Evil porno. Now, it's not what you think. It's not an actual porno. I don't even know if they've come out with a real life porn, or knowing people, they've come out with a CG version, a CG porn movie for Resident Evil featuring some characters. And anyway, this file. So you have Plant 42. T-Virus has drastically morphed the host's anatomy. We've also found that Plant 42 has two main sources of acquiring its necessary nutrients. Basement has been like a pool. Okay, so Plant 42 is a big-ass plant, and we don't know why. Just to kind of sum the Cliff's Notes of this note. The Cliff's Notes of this file. It uses the tentacle-like vines to capture its prey. Because this plant came from Japan. They all observed one thing in common. Uniform petal-like flaps open and reveal its vital internals. Has a tendency to become more aggressive. Okay. So anyway, that bit of dialogue that happened before Joe walked into the room. between Barry and whoever Barry was talking to. I'm pretty sure you guys know who he was talking to, but if you've never seen this game before, I'm not going to spoil it. So you can clearly hear what Barry was saying. But interestingly, in the original remake, you could very clearly hear the other person that he was talking to, so you can tell who it was. So I'm kind of glad that somebody wisened up and said, that doesn't make any sense story-wise, because Jill's acting like she doesn't know who the other person is. And even though, from our perspective, it sounds like she can clearly hear who it is, so they kind of muffled the other person's voice in this game. And you couldn't even read the subtitles of what the other person was saying, so I like that. That's a very nice touch. And kudos to them for making that change. Okay. So my usual protocol of kind of lugging around the lighter and the canteen applies here, because I really don't want Crimson Heads running around over here. Okay. So I'm gonna dispose of that guy. What else do we have in this room? I don't know. Yuck. Okay. Now, I remember when I was playing the director's cut, and I say that at least 50 times in every video, so it's par for the course. There's a lot of desks pretty much in every one of these like dormitories, in every one of these rooms, these bedrooms that were assigned to the guards. There are desks that Jill can lockpick, and there's items in there and she can pick them up. And I remember when I was playing as Chris, the very few times I was playing as Chris in that game, I was like, where the hell do I... Because he doesn't have a lockpick. Where on earth do I find all these small keys or the old keys, I don't know what they're called, to unlock those desks? And by that time, I was running really low on ammo and really low on health. Well, it was mainly ammo, so I was getting particularly frustrated because I really wanted whatever was in the drawers, because it was most likely going to be ammo, and I had no idea how to unlock them. So, I'm just going to go back a second. So anyway, this whole idea of putting in the original dialogue into the remake, I kind of like it. And it'll be very interesting to see what the end product is going to be. Now, there was another thing that I mentioned here, which was the Resident Evil porno, and I kind of started to talk about it, and then I left you guys hanging. And when I say something like a Resident Evil porno, I don't want to leave you guys hanging. I want you to know exactly what's going on. So for those of you that aren't aware, it's basically somebody, and this is kind of an old thing, somebody took some of the sound clips from the original game and kind of spliced them together to make it sound like a porno. So it's just audio. There's no video or anything like that. And it's pretty awesome. It's pretty funny. And one of the lines that Barry says, one of the lines that they include in the audio is Barry's fresh air line. So I always chuckle when I hear him say it. Oh god. This guy is dead? Okay, I don't get it. Let me just burn him anyway. What happens sometimes is, if you wait too long and you burn a zombie that's already a Crimson Head, instead of killing it, it just causes it to wake up and go after you. So I'm always cautious, especially if they say something along the lines of, oh, this body has been here for several hours. Looks like it's been dead for several hours. It's just like wonderful, you know. There's something inside the bathtub. There better be something inside the bathtub. I came here, and it better not have been for nothing. There you go. Okay, that was definitely necessary. Okay, here we go. Time to see what's going on outside. Alright. Where is he? No, I know he's here somewhere. Okay. Slowly but surely. Ah, there we go. Okay, he's still alive. Ugh. Is he dead? Okay. Let's get rid of him. Okay, that looks like there's a lot of items to pick up in this room. So let's check out what they are. Sweet. That's good. And there's something else. A few other things here. Self-defense gun. Suicide note. Okay. I had to do it. We ran from those things, helping each other to survive. But Robert started to show the symptoms. I had to do it. Those damn things are pure evil. Okay. After I put him out of his misery, I had to leave him in the bathroom. So that was the zombie that I burned, I'm assuming. Wait. Okay, hold up. There's no way to escape. Everything is set. All I need is a little courage to get it done. Okay, so this guy's like, I'm gonna kill myself, but this is better than just waiting to turn into one of them. Please understand and let me end my life as a person. There's a message on the back. Linda, please forgive me. So now this brings up kind of an interesting problem. How do zombies become zombies? Now, that's always an interesting question. For example, in The Walking Dead, I won't spoil it for people who haven't seen the show, but the question of how people become walkers in that show is a big question. It was at least a very big question in the beginning part of the show. This, to me, raises more questions than answers. So this guy did kill himself. He killed his friend, and he killed himself. Well, okay, he said that his friend was showing symptoms. Robert was starting to show symptoms. So I had to put him out of his misery. So I'm assuming he shot him. And he said I left him in the bathroom. But I still had to burn him because he would have become a Crimson Head, I think. So I don't get it. Is there something that prevents people from becoming zombies? You guys see what I'm saying? Like, I don't... How is that? And the guy killed himself. I mean, it was a suicide note that he left, and he killed himself. But then he came back to life. So, what prevents people from becoming zombies? I think this is a question worthy of more attention. I mean, I don't know if Capcom will ever pay attention to that because they're too busy making shitty action games for the Resident Evil series, but that's something that, I don't know, that's something that fascinates me. So, I can't be the only one that has that question. Alright, so this self-defense gun is interesting. Has just one bullet in it, and as far as I know, I don't think you can reload it, so I don't know. Okay, so now I have this control key, which means I'm getting ready to go to the Aqua Ring. You heard it mentioned before. So, what else do I need? Health item, of course. Okay. So let's keep going. But yeah, that actually makes me wonder now. Because I thought, my understanding was that if you get bit, you eventually turn into a zombie. But wait a sec. But then in the Outbreak series, right, what happens is that everybody's infected. But I don't know if they were infected because they were bitten, or if it's because it's something in the air and everybody's infected. But basically, if you play the Outbreak games, and I've only played a little bit of the first one, but there's a virus meter that you see goes up over time, and so that implies that the people that you were playing, that the characters that you were playing are infected. So how is that? And if that's the case, if those characters are infected and it was airborne, the virus, then how come the main characters that you play as that are in the areas where the virus is aren't infected? Because these early games very heavily imply that that the only way to get infected is if you get bitten. It's very heavily implied. Hell, you get bitten, and if you use a green herb, you're not infected anyway. But I mean, I think that's just for the sake of the story. But, for example, you know, you have in the second game, Marvin, that cop, that guy, he was bitten, and he's dying, basically. And then in the third game, you come across this guy who says he lost his daughter, and he was bitten too, like he has a bandage around his arm, I think. And I didn't show this in my Let's Play, but he does eventually become a zombie. And I'm trying to think what other examples. And then you have examples of people doing experiments on people, and they become monsters or whatever. Sherry's infected by her father. In the second game, Steve is infected by Alexia and Code Veronica. So to me, like, if I were to just go off the main games, my impression would be, and it has been, as long as you don't get bitten, you don't get infected. So if somebody like kills themselves with a handgun bullet or whatever, like they hang themselves, or they blow their brains out, they shouldn't be infected. But I don't know what I'm talking about, and I'm gonna go ahead and stop because this is giving me a headache. I don't know. Well, let's just chalk it up to gameplay logic. It's more suspenseful to have somebody hang me and then you hear the body fall and then come after you. Ah, this part. I remember in the director's cut they really dropped the ball on this part because it was very non-suspenseful. You pretty much are by the door that you need to be by the time the sharks come after you. At least here, you have a long ways to go before you get to the door, so this is incredibly suspenseful. This is pretty nerve-wracking, and I love it. So okay, but thankfully I made it without incident, so I'm just gonna go in here. Control room key. Of course, because I was in a panic, I accidentally said that I didn't want to discard the key, and now it's taking up space that I really need. Great. Okay. So now the objective is to drain the water. And that's what I'm going to try to do right now. Of course, in the director's cut, it's much simpler. You just press a button and the water drains and you're done. But here it's a kind of interesting puzzle, and I like it. Okay. So let's see. There's actually a door leading out of this area. I don't think I can go through there, though. Yeah, I think I'll pass on that. I'll come back to that later. Okay. So what we have here, there should be a note here somewhere. Oh, there's a map of the Aqua Ring, which is good. But there's a note here in this area that is kind of useful in this task. So it says, in case of a drop in oil pressure control, open valve 1. Now, I don't know if that number changes with each playthrough, because I swear there was one time where it said open valve 2. So I don't know if it's different each time. Something appears to have gone wrong while water was being drained. Okay, so we're going to try it again. Drain the water. And of course, it's not that simple.
Emergency. Unknown source of pressure detected. Locking all doors to achieve maximum safety.
Okay. So you just have to follow a sequence of events. First, we have to release the safety, which I think is on this side over here. Oh boy.
Reaching 30% of pressure threshold.
Okay. Looking good so far. Ah. Okay, so there's the oil pressure that was lost. So that's where that note comes into play. So we're gonna do valve 1. And basically we have to do this again.
Reaching 50% of pressure
Let's follow the
threshold.
sequence of events again.
Activate
You should be good.
Drainage system immediately.
Right, yeah, the safety was put back in place, so we just have to release the safety. And then this should work. Oh my god. 50%. I think the highest that I've ever seen this go is 90% because I wasn't sure what I was doing the first time around. So that's always intense. Okay, so this is good. So now the remaining thing is to drain the water. Okay, there you go. So now the sharks should pose no more threat. And I'm just gonna go ahead and stop the video here, and I'll see you guys next time. Later.